For decades, Black comedians have used pointed humor to expose, challenge, and also ridicule society's injustices and to articulate the Black experience in America.
A new two-night documentary explores the progression of Black comedy, and we talked to Dr. Christian Gregory, who is the son of comedy legend Dick Gregory, about the importance of shining a light on boundary-pushing artists of the past and the present. Dr. Gregory, so excited to have you here, and congrats on this new documentary, Right to Offend. How did this all come together? Why was this story so important to tell?
Thank you for having me. Washington's home, so it's always
Yes.
marvelous to be back home. So this documentary, this documentary really looks almost through like a long journalistic lens at the foundation of Black comedy through the contemporaries. And, I'm the executor of my father's estate, and I wear that with as a badge of honor and very protective. But it was very clear that the storytellers here really understood it. They really had love and understanding for their subject. And so this one, the reason that the list is shorter of comedians who did not participate in this, and part of that was because it became clear after being interviewed that this was going to be one of those very special documentaries that really capture just the depth and magnitude of these founding fathers and founding mothers of comedy.
Richard Pryor,
Whoopi Goldberg,
Eddie Murphy.
No one tells jokes like us.
Black comics speak truth to power.
America wasn't ready for that.
That's what we were saying. Everyone
Right.
is part of this.
The list is incredible.
Yes. You're also the son of Dick Gregory, we should mention. So how did he kind of set you on this path to want to be able to share these stories?
And so my dad, as all Washingtonians can attest to, Dick Gregory was uber accessible. So if you saw him at 11 p.m. coming out of Whole Foods, he was just as engaging if he was up on the stage at the Kennedy Center. So he was always accessible. He was always a man of the people, and he understood there was real strength in his stories.
I'd like to say thank you very much, and when they say this show features living color, you better believe it. Are you a good audience tonight, and treat me nice, because with President Kennedy's new housing bill, I might be your neighbor now.
The beauty of this documentary, Right to Offend, it really, from Richard Pryor, Dick Gregory, Moms Mabley, Red Fox, it shows how so many of these the founders of comedy, the role they played and the tools that they passed along to so many of the contemporaries that so many of us grew up on. So for me, this was an easy decision. It was legacy preservation, and it was a high honor to participate.
Not only do we have the names that you mentioned and now the names of today, the Dave Chappelle's, the Tiffany Haddish's, but it spurred so many incredible shows, comedy shows, and Living Color, one of my favorites, and just so groundbreaking, especially when you look back at the names that were on that show.
Absolutely. So much of this we don't realize, and it's impossible for these producers and directors and comedy writers to understand what the impact of this material will have generations later. We're still, Red Fox, Dick Gregory, Richard Pryor, their jokes still, sadly, oftentimes are just as relevant today as they were in the early 60s. So Live in Color, all of the material they covered there, these folks were activists. All activists don't have to wear an activist badge. It really helped America to understand, that the similarities between all of humanity, and and thank God for it.
Is there a decade that when you were doing this and looking at it through a unique lens, that you were like, that was the decade that everything changed, or is it something different every year?
It's a great question. I would have to say the 60s, because we saw a pivotal change from Black folks performing in a very kind of making fun of their race, of their people, ill-fitting clothing, exaggerated facial expressions, to that flat-footed, as my dad would always say, in your face, telling you like it is, no nonsense, and whether you're, the right to offend. You may find it offensive. You can get up and leave. You can hit stop on your audio player, but we're going to tell it for the folks who want to be uplifted, and we're just going to give them the truth, and it helps when you have them laughing along the way. It helps it to penetrate and resonate a little deeper.
Dr. Gregory, we are so excited about this. Congratulations on this project, and we just can't wait for it to be out there. So good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, looks just so,
looks really
so
good.
good. The two-night documentary premieres tonight at 9 p.m. on A&E Network.